Please, we can start. Distinguished fellow university professors, researchers, guests and speakers at this conference, I am PhD Associate Professor Manuela Tăbăraș, the Dean of the Law School of Titu Maiorescu University, and from this position I am pleased to welcome you to this conference and to wish you 2 wonderful days with us, full of debates here in the heart of Titu Maiorescu University, in this new amphitheater that we are inaugurating today. It's a joy and an honor to have you all with us today, some of you for the first time present and others for the second edition. We are also greeting the researchers chairing the meeting and the ones in the audience whom we shall introduce to you at the time of their speech. But I am convinced that their outstanding reputation needs no introduction as they are well-known personalities in their field of research. I would like to thank them all, and I can't hardly wait to listen to them during the 4 panels of this conference which is attended by teacher staff, researchers of law, as well as by representatives of the public institution of Romania, as well as by representatives of the legal profession, who are all honoring us with their presence and interest for the topics to be discussed in this conference. So, shortly after the opening festivities for the new school year, the Law School of Titu Maiorescu University is pleased to host the works of this international conference as main organizer, together with its international partner, European Public Law Organization, which gathers the most important experts in public law worldwide, Salvador de Maradiaga Institute of European Studies, University of A Coruña, Spain, which promotes scientific research in international and European affairs, and last but not least, with the Academy for Transparency and Human Rights, institution affiliated to the European Public Law Organization, which promotes transparency in public activity as well as on the protection of human rights. This conference, Rule of Law after the Pandemic in Times of War and Economic Crisis, at its 2nd edition, which will take place today and tomorrow, it's another opportunity to reaffirm our university at an international standard, and as a constant partner to the latest topic, which are widely applicable in contemporary law, but another opportunity to pursue research in scientific successful current themes. As this event is a natural continuation of the former event, the international conference organized by our university 3 years ago in 2019, named at that time Rule of Law as Promoter of Human Rights and Economic Growth. We can see the difference in those 3 years together. For those of you who know us less, this being the first time you are joining us, I would like to point out that during over 30 years of our existence, we have proven consistency in scientific research. And we also proven interest in identifying up-to-date topic of research that reflect not only the interest or the curiosity of our researchers for novelties, but also that reflects or respond the needs of practice in finding in our research new answers, new solutions to interpret new text of law, situations which are not expressly regulated by the lawmaker, and to consolidate a good and grounded practice of law. Therefore, to quickly enter the core of discussion, please allow me to give the floor to Professor Sorin Ivan, the representative of the Titu Maiorescu Management University. Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you very much. I'm very honored to take part in this extraordinary event. I'm Professor Sorin Ivan. I'm the Director of Communication of this university, and I'm also a Dean of a faculty named the Faculty of Communication Sciences and International Relations. I'm speaking now on behalf of the president and of the rector of the Titu Maiorescu University, who do regret a lot for not being here. Out of urgent administrative reasons, we are also expecting an institutional assessment from the Romanian Agency for Quality. So we are all engaged in this process. So since it is their message, I'm going to read it and share with you their thoughts, and our feelings about this outstanding event. Dear participants, distinguished guests, Titu Maiorescu University is honored to host such an important event as the conference Rule of Law After the Pandemic in Times of War and Economic Crisis, with such a prestigious international participation. We are greeting all participants and warmly welcoming our guests, outstanding personalities of the international legal and scientific world. We are honored by your participation and presence in our university. We are also happy to meet again Mr. Flogaitis, Doctor Honoris Causa of our university, member of our academic community. The conference is an important scientific event of the Titu Maiorescu University, organized by the Faculty of Law, which expresses our concerns for addressing major topics of towering importance for the field of law, for the academic environment, and for the whole society. The Faculty of Law is one of the most dynamic and successful faculties of the university, with an important scientific potential, recognized as such in the Romanian and international academic space. And also I would add with a very bold and ambitious leadership. The theme of the conference, the rule of law after the pandemic in times of war and economic crisis, is a very challenging and actual one. Starting from the tragic situation of the pandemic and from the negative developments affecting humanity, such as the war and the economic crisis, a conference focused on the rule of law makes a framework for scientific and moral reflection on the importance of law in the governance of today's world. It is a way of emphasizing at the highest scientific level that the law is or should be supreme, that no one should be above the law, that no one, persons, institutions, countries, should be more equal than others, that a society without justice, without the rule of law, turns into an environment of anarchy, a space of social and moral chaos. Fiat justitia pereat mundus. Metaphorically, this Latin phrase is an apology of law, of its supreme importance for any society. Governed by the rule of law, our world does not perish but grows, flourishes, develops in the paradigm of democracy. But without justice, without the rule of law, the world can perish. The rule of law is the triumph of justice, of human reason. The abolition of justice and of the rule of law represents the failure of our ability to reason, the failure of our humanism and humanity. As long as there is law and the law rules, through the rule of law, democracy, our societies and the world move forward towards a future of hope and humanism. Therefore, allow us to congratulate you for the initiative of such a substantial and important event, which enriches scientifically and spiritually our university, and wish the conference success. We are convinced that the ideas expressed within the conference will represent an important contribution to the analysis of the theme in relation to the challenges and difficulties facing the world today, and to the transfer of knowledge at the highest academic level. Good luck to everyone. Thank you very much.
And now please allow me to give the floor to the special representative of the Romanian government, Mr. Alexandru Muraru, advisor of the Prime Minister. You have the floor. Thank you very much.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Dear Mrs. in the Faculty of Law of Titu Mărirescu University, dear Professor Spiridon Pogaitis, Director of the European Public Law Organization, ladies and gentlemen, teachers, Mrs. Judges Gerbovan, Juanita Safta, and Mrs. Ombudsman Weber, dear participants, dear guests, it's a real honor and a privilege for me to say a few words at the opening of your conference. I bring to you the appreciation of the Prime Minister and of the government, because these days you are organizing here in Bucharest the international conference entitled Rule of Law After the Pandemic in Times of War and Economic Crisis. With this occasion, I congratulate the organizers, the Faculty of Law of the Titu Mărirescu University in Bucharest, the European Public Law Organization, and the University of Corunia. The domain of the rule of law, civil rights, instruments and mechanisms in our democracies in unprecedented situation in recent years represents a subject of maximum interest for the legal system, for the academic and for the society alike. In the context of the challenges faced by the global community starting in 2020, the conference organized by your university has the merit of constituting a platform for debates, for theorists, for practitioners, for specialists, which can generate solutions and answers for institutions, non-governmental organizations, or even international. So what you are doing here, I think, makes an essential contribution to the rule of law itself and the legal field as a whole. As you know, the executive from Bucharest and the parliamentary majority are engaged in an extensive effort to reform the judicial system. We are in the process of adopting three main laws in the justice system, respectively the statute of judges and prosecutors, the judicial organization, and the one regarding the Superior Council of Magistrature. They have already passed the lower house, the Senate is next. These three fundamental laws will definitely place justice on the new path for the next decades. They come to modernize the judiciary, align it with European principles, strengthening its independence, clarify basic aspects of the career of the judges and prosecutors, and ensure greater efficiency, all while respecting citizens' rights and freedoms. Ladies and gentlemen, finally, I want to tell you that this conference and other events that you organize in the sphere of the public law are an opportunity to strengthen our democracies in these difficult times. Speaking about the rule of law, about freedoms, about the protection of citizens, of minorities, we are more solidarity. We give important signals to prevent and combat the violation of civil rights, the violation of freedoms, including international treaties. What has happened in the recent months in Europe throughout the largest aggression since the Second World War, illegal, illegitimate and unprovoked Russian Federation in Ukraine, causing the largest refugee crisis and the largest territorial problem since the Second World War, proves to us that the rule of law needs permanent support and protection. Terrorizing and thinking of new forms of developing it. Strengthening the rule of law is now the most powerful weapon to counter Russia's hybrid war in European democracies. As a special representative of the government and a member of the parliament, I want to tell you that the last 2 years have shown us politicians, advocates, teachers, practitioners, that we need much more academic debate, solidarity of new strategies. I conclude by wishing you interesting debates with arguments and strong conclusions. I hope that we can see your research and debates translated into scientific works, public policies, and civil initiatives. Let's think about what Dwight Eisenhower, a great American president, a former commander of the American forces in Europe during the Second World War, said. The clearest way to show what the rule of law means to us in everyday life is to recall what has happened when there is no rule of law. Thank you.
And now, please allow me to introduce Professor Spiridon Flogaidis, the President and Director of the European Public Law Organization, Professor of the National and Capodistrian University in Athens, graduated summa cum laude of the Law School of University of Athens, attorney in law, PhD in law at University of Paris II, Panthéon-Assas, Doctor honoris causa at many universities, CNSPA in Bucharest, Romania, the Faculty of Law of University of Lisbon in Portugal, at the Titu Maiorescu University in Bucharest, Romania, the State University in Mariupol, a very known town these days, in Ukraine, and the ASPE in Chișinău. An outstanding resume. But most important for us, I think, he is a reliable partner of our faculty in time of peace, pandemic, or on the brink of war. We thank him once again for being with us today. Professor, you have the floor. Thank you very much.
On behalf of the European Public Law Organization, I am truly very honored to be here today and address, along with you, dear Dean, this important conference pointing on the rule of law after the pandemic in times of war and economic crisis. The EPLO is truly very pleased to have developed over the years this collaboration with Titu Maiorescu University, and I personally will never forget that I am part of your scientific community, thanks to your generosity to offer me the title of Doctor Honoris Causa. Actually, what you said about me, dear Dean, reminded me that one of the most tragic elements in this presentation of me is that I am also Doctor Honoris Causa of a university which does not physically exist, the University of Mariupol. It has been bombarded. It does not exist. It's just tabula rasa. And because it suffered from the war, which, as you know, has annihilated the functioning of an important city, Mariupol, which is not only Ukrainian, but also a Greek city. More than 120,000 Greeks live there, and they live in prosperity and in full allegiance to the Ukrainian environment. Well, talking about the rule of law is the reason why we gathered here, and but not just of the rule of law. The rule of law after the pandemic, in times of war and economic crisis. I mean, it's interesting, my dear friend Tudor, how you gathered the three nasty things together. The pandemic, not you, right, yes. The pandemic, the war, and the economic crisis. And actually, you just described what is happening. you did not invent them. But we are just after the pandemic. We are very, very happy to see each other again. We will never forget those who have been hit by the pandemic, and they are not anymore with us. They are many. Some of them have been members of the scientific effort of the EPLO for years. And unfortunately, we are in times of war on European soil. This is in order to remind us, the Europeans, that for all the 70, 80 years after the Second World War, we have closed our eyes to the fact that wars have exploded in several parts of the world, but they were away from Europe. Europe now, in its turn, is hit by war, and at the same time economic crisis, because the war, at least the war creates economic crisis, and I don't know how we, the Europeans, are going to live the months ahead with the crisis in the field of energy. But of course, we should have been more careful before. Anyway, the EPLO is represented here in order to advise you that we shall continue very happily and with honor to be a constructive partner of this university, and actually with many thanks, because this scientific community is very important in this country and in the world, and we are very proud of being part of this scientific community and partner of this scientific community. The EPLO has worked over the years a lot in the area of the rule of law, and is launching these days, actually yesterday, our permanent representative as permanent observer to the General Assembly of the United Nations took the floor yesterday in the afternoon session to announce the Global Rule of Law Initiative, which I'm going to talk to you when our panel is called to the floor. And we are very, very proud to work in this area, but to assure you that we work in this area in a dialogue of civilizations with respect to the ways of understanding the rule of law worldwide, and with the belief that nothing is given, everything is to be discussed, and that humanity together can develop further civilization, and of course by guaranteeing what has already been achieved by civilization. So I would like to ask the authorities here to consider a closer cooperation also in the field of our initiative for the rule of law, and eventually to develop together, hand in hand, for what we can help anyway, your center for the rule of law, which I hope you will take the initiative to create in this university. Thank you very much for inviting me, and all good wishes for a good success of the conference.
And now, from the other side of our continent, over the internet, from Spain, we have with us Professor Gabriela Wanza. The director of the Salvador de Maradiaga Institute of European Studies, University of A Coruña, a well-renowned research specialist in public international law and international relations, and also a graduate of our university who honored us many times with her participation. Gabriela, you have the words, please.
Thank you very much, my dear Manuela Taborash. Good morning from A Coruña in Spain, where it is 1 hour less than in Bucharest. First of all, I would like to thank the Titu Maiorescu University from Bucharest in general, and the organizers of this international conference in particular, for having invited me to tell a few introductory words in relation to this academic event. I'm talking in my capacity as director of Salvador de Madariaga University Institute for European Studies at the University of A Coruña, which is one of the supporters of this international conference. I would have loved to be present in Bucharest this time, but teaching duties here at the Faculty of Law in A Coruña during this semester have not allowed me to travel to Bucharest with the occasion of this international conference. I would like to keep on the positive side. In this way, you can see how well the new IT facilities are working in the new room. I'm looking forward to seeing it in person, maybe in the coming month. I have to confess that I'm glad about this collaboration between the Titu Maiorescu University and Salvador de Madariaga University Institute for European Studies at the University of A Coruña, which is another proof of the excellent relations between this university institute specialized on European studies and Titu Maiorescu University. A collaboration that has been established 2 decades ago, more or less, with Professors Maranda Angheni. At that time, she was the Dean of the Faculty of Law. This collaboration, moreover, has been strengthened over the years with his dynamism that we all know by Mr. President, Professor Robi Iosif Urs, and that now continues with the current Dean, Manuela Taborash, to whom I am united, if I may say, by a beautiful human and academic friendship. I take this opportunity to wish you all a very fruitful international conference, and I'm sure that the topics which will be addressed by the speakers will contribute to a fruitful reflection on a highly topical subject, as is the case of the rule of law after the pandemic. A period that is marked undoubtedly by critical facts as Ukraine's invasion by the Russian Federation and the different impacts of the economic crisis in various sectors of activities. Thank you very much for your attention and good luck. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your speech, Gabriela, and thank you for being with us today, but mostly for partnering our international events organized by our faculty. Thank you very much. And now we invite you all to actively participate of the 4th panel to be held today as follows. 3, in fact. Rule of law in European Union, the first panel. The second one, rule of law and constitutional law. Panel 3, rule of law and administrative law. And please bear in mind that tomorrow we have organized panel 4, private law and rule of law. We will now withdraw to make room for the participants of the first panel and wish them success in their debates. Let's have good and fruitful days reaching ourselves with new information. Thank you once again for being with us, for your interest and participation at this event. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you very much.